Hey dreamers, welcome back. Today we're talking about something super relevant to, well, existing in the 21st century, staying informed without losing your mind. Let's be real, the news cycle is relentless. It feels like every time you open your phone, there's a new crisis brewing or a fresh wave of existential dread washing over the internet. It's easy to get sucked into the vortex of negativity, but it's important to remember that we have a choice in how we engage with the news. We don't have to surrender to the constant barrage of information overload. This video is all about finding that balance, staying informed about current events without letting them consume our every waking thought. We'll explore practical strategies for managing news consumption in a way that prioritizes both our mental well-being and our understanding of the world around us. Because let's be honest, being informed is important, but not at the cost of our mental health. So whether you're a news junkie struggling to unplug or someone who avoids the news altogether, stick around for some tips on how to navigate the world of information in a healthy and sustainable way. Let's do this. Okay, first things first, self-awareness. We all have those topics or news formats that just push our buttons. Maybe it's political debates that get your blood boiling, or maybe it's stories about climate change that send you spiraling into existential dread. Whatever it is, identifying those triggers is crucial. Think about it. If you know that watching cable news gives you heart palpitations, maybe it's time to find a different way to stay informed. The goal here isn't to bury our heads in the sand, but to be mindful of the content we consume and how it affects us. Start by paying attention to your emotional responses to different types of news. Do certain headlines make your stomach clench? Do certain news outlets leave you feeling particularly anxious or angry? Once you've identified your triggers, you can start to create a more mindful news diet, one that prioritizes your mental well-being without sacrificing your awareness of current events. Remember, it's not about ignoring the bad stuff, but about finding a way to engage with it that doesn't leave you feeling completely drained. All right, now that you're more aware of your news triggers, let's talk about where you're getting your information from. In the age of social media and clickbait headlines, it's more important than ever to be discerning about our news sources. Not all news is created equal, and some sources are definitely more reputable than others. It's time to curate a list of trusted sources that align with your values and provide balanced, factual reporting. Look for outlets known for their journalistic integrity, accuracy, and commitment to avoiding sensationalism. Think of it like building a balanced bookshelf. You want a variety of perspectives and voices, but you also want to make sure that the information you're consuming is reliable and well-researched. Don't be afraid to branch out from your usual sources and explore different perspectives. Just remember to approach new sources with a critical eye and be wary of anything that seems overly biased or emotionally charged. Let's be real. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to fall into the trap of constant news consumption. But just like with anything else, setting boundaries is crucial for our mental well-being. We've got to stop treating the news cycle like a 24/7 buffet that we need to gorge ourselves on. It's not about staying glued to the headlines, it's about finding a healthy balance that works for you. One strategy is to designate specific times of day for checking the news, rather than letting it bleed into every spare moment. Maybe you start your day with a quick scan of the headlines, or maybe you catch up on current events during your lunch break. Another helpful tip is to limit those pesky notifications. Seriously, those things are like tiny dopamine dealers, constantly vying for our attention. Turn off news alerts on your phone, unsubscribe from those anxiety-inducing email newsletters, and reclaim your mental space. Speaking of technology, it can be both a blessing and a curse when it comes to news consumption. But fear not, my friends, for there are ways to use technology to our advantage. There are tons of apps and tools out there designed to help us manage our news intake and filter out the noise. Some apps allow you to create personalized news feeds based on your interests, while others offer features that block out negative or triggering content. Explore different options and find what works best for you. Remember, technology should be a tool that empowers us, not something that controls us. And hey, while we're on the topic of using technology wisely, why not explore some apps and websites that focus on positive news? There's a whole world of uplifting and inspiring stories out there, just waiting to be discovered. Okay, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the importance of balance. It's easy to get bogged down in the negativity that often dominates mainstream media, but it's crucial to remember that there's still good in the world. Make a conscious effort to seek out and engage with positive news stories. These stories can serve as a powerful antidote to the negativity bias often found in traditional news outlets. Reading about acts of kindness, scientific breakthroughs, or inspiring community initiatives can actually boost your mood and restore your faith in humanity. Plus, it's a good reminder that the world is a much more nuanced and multifaceted place than the headlines might lead you to believe. All right, let's talk about how we consume news. It's easy to fall into a passive scrolling vortex, mindlessly absorbing headlines without really processing the information. But just like with anything else, mindfulness is key. Next time you're reading a news article, try to approach it with a sense of curiosity and critical thinking. Pay attention to the sources, consider different perspectives, and don't be afraid to question what you're reading. Remember, the goal isn't to memorize every single detail, but to engage with the information in a way that's meaningful and thought-provoking. So, how do we put all of this into practice? It's all about creating a healthy routine that incorporates news consumption in a balanced and sustainable way. Think about your daily schedule and identify pockets of time where you can realistically fit in some news reading or listening without letting it take over your day. Maybe it's during your commute while you're making dinner or right before bed. And here's a pro tip. Try pairing your news consumption with other relaxing activities. Listen to a podcast while you're going for a walk, read a news article while you're enjoying your morning coffee, or catch up on current events while you're soaking in the tub. So there you have it, folks. We've covered a lot of ground today, but the key takeaway is this. Staying informed doesn't have to come at the cost of our mental well-being. Remember to be mindful of your triggers, curate your sources wisely, and set healthy boundaries with your news consumption. Use technology to your advantage, engage with positive stories, and practice mindful consumption. And most importantly, don't be afraid to take breaks when you need them. It's okay to step away from the news cycle and recharge your batteries. The world will still be there when you get back. So, I'm curious, what are your strategies for staying informed without getting overwhelmed? Share your tips, tricks, and favorite news sources in the comments below. Let's create a positive and supportive space for navigating the world of information together. Because let's be honest, the news can be a lot to handle sometimes. But by taking control of our news consumption habits, we can stay informed without sacrificing our mental health. And that, my friends, is a win-win situation. DFTBA, and don't let the news get you down.